draft riots of the Civil War. Now, less than a year after the Detroit riot in 1967, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. And strangely enough, that historic calamity was the catalyst that started Tall Joe's lifelong pot-dealing career.
And then when Martin Luther King got killed in 68, they put Detroit under curfew for days. You couldn't go out at night or nothing, or else, there's cops and there was tanks and stuff, and, you didn't want to be caught. So there was no pot around. And somebody was saying, and I go, well, shit, I got this stuff in my closet, right? And brought it out, and it still wasn't very good, but it was something. And these people just gobbled it up, smoked it. I mean, it wouldn't charge them that much or anything, but it just kind of flashed me, wow, this stuff, you can make some money here. You can make a living maybe selling some pot here and all that. So, I mean, that's kind of, actually, I then moved on out here because that whole was freaky, though, the whole Detroit, because it had the Detroit riots in 67, and then in 68, they wanted to make sure there was no riots. That's why they had a big curfew right away, right after Martin Luther King got killed, So after that, I came back. I came out here to live and stuff, and yeah, I mean, it was just part of the whole history then, because Robert Kennedy got killed, and then he got killed, and it wasn't good for. And of course, the Vietnam War was heavy duty going on, and all that. I found out later. I went to my high school class. Anybody that didn't go to college and didn't have the pull to get a deferment got drafted and fought in Vietnam, and that's pretty outrageous in a way.
So Tall Joe is a poster child for the pot-loving hippie reviled by the anti-marijuana establishment of Nixon and Reagan. It was fascinating to learn that two friends who represent the enemy of the racist Puritan system, a hippie and an African-American, both shared the link of Kansas in their lifelong weed enthusiasm. Kansas, home to Dorothy, wild cannabis, and a linchpin for hippies and African-American pot smokers. And who knows who else. Next up, a totally unrelated story from my smuggler parents that I really wanted to share with you because it's ridiculous. Okay, so if you watch Mad Men, the TV series, you'll remember that the season finale ends with Don Draper at a self-realization healing center in Northern California, recognizable to anyone who spent time in the Bay Area in the 70s and 80s as EST in Big Sur. EST, aka Earhart Seminars Training, was an organization started by Werner Earhart in 1971, offering transformational healing and self-success to seekers who pay for the seminars, which always lead to another essential seminar in order to achieve contentment. Now, groups like EST, full of self-declared gurus and spiritual leaders, flourished throughout California, particularly Marin County, throughout the 70s and 80s. And they're still there today. Now, thankfully, my parents never got into these predatory groups, but they've always loved laughing at them. Here's a little slice of us having tea at their breakfast table and talking about groups like EST and their idea, the Lemurs' idea for their own self-actualization organization.
Just tell me what the chicken thing is.
What chicken thing?
The chicken thing was...
Oh, okay.
I'll talk. Don't interrupt.
You can... Yeah.
Okay. I'll talk. We had chickens in Mill Valley, and they lived in this special coop that Walter made, a Chinese meditation hut for the chickens, and we used to watch the chickens. So then one day we were watching the chickens pecking at each other and being weird. We had a lot of beautiful chickens. We had Polish Cochins and like Plymouth Rock. We had beautiful chickens, and they laid pink and blue eggs.
They were just like humans. They were. Yeah. They were just, it was exactly like humans. You had the king, who strutted around and pecked whoever, whenever. You had his helpers, and then the weaklings, and as they fell, we didn't have very many weaklings because we kept our chickens, and they were all these very fancy chickens. You remember?
I do remember.
They had buff cochins and all these. We didn't know how beautiful Mom found these.
The buff cochin. So we thought that was, Esther just finished, and everybody was running and doing workshops on how to, become one with the universe. And we thought we could just put people out here and just say, watch the chickens.
For work.
Become free. You enjoy the chickens and see how they, how they relate, and then you learn how to be in society. But we never did it. But that was our premise.
You're going to have workshops on just watching chickens and meditating?
Yeah, learning, what it was all about.
Well, it was. Were we calling it chicken therapy?
Yeah,
we were calling it.
It's a good idea.
I know. It was a good idea then. Nothing has changed other than it's a good idea.
And that's chicken therapy. Keep your eyes open for the Lemurs side hustle, offering a holistic, transformational healing experience with nature and fancy chickens. Maybe some live sitar from Gabby Lala, our sitar player, and maybe it'll be on Candy Can's Sonoma County farm. And there at Chicken Therapy, you will achieve lasting contentment. All thanks to the chickens. And, of course, the Lemur family gurus. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Rainbow Valentine, and this is Disorganized Crime, Smuggler's Daughter. Disorganized Crime, Smuggler's Daughter is written and recorded by me, Rainbow Valentine. Our producers are Gabby Watts and Taylor Church. Executive producers are Brandon Barr, Brian Lavin, Elsie Crowley, and me at School of Humans, and Connell Byrne and Charles Bryant at iHeartRadio. Our music is by Gabby Lala and Claire Campbell, with original theme by Mark Karen and me. You can follow us online at disorganizedcrimepodcast.com.
Writing our own story, doing as we please. Tamalpais, sleeping princess of the redwood trees. She helps us keep it real. A handshake seals the deal. Grab the stash, seal a meal, and load up these old wheels. Rolling a doobie, young, rich, and groovy. Making it up as we roll along.